terrifying sea creatures that surprise fishermen as they return home, thousands of bees hiding on the roof of a house, and a chilling explosion that you won't believe is real. Brace yourself, because you're about to be amazed by 10 moments you wouldn't believe if they weren't filmed. Number 10. The inevitable descent. How about we start this tour of the most unreal moments you can imagine by visiting the story of this great group of men who are enjoying a vacation in Alaska. Turns out their recklessness caused them to experience something they will never forget. Apparently, after traversing the treacherous snowy roads of the area, the group decided to stop to stare at the scenery. The snow offers a beautiful image bathed by the sun, and perhaps that's why none of them realized that they had parked in the wrong place. Without them realizing it, the vehicle began to sink into a deep frozen lake that broke completely due to the weight of the car and began to drag it into the depths. The group immediately tried to prevent the car from sinking into the water. They all pulled the vehicle with all their might, hoping to avoid the fateful outcome, but they had no chance of preventing it. Number 9. Misleading images. The next video on the list may hurt susceptibilities, so be careful with the content you are about to watch. In the distance, we can see a powerful aircraft flying overhead at a dangerously low altitude. The sky is clear, but the craft seems to be getting closer and closer to the ground, and it's not exactly on its airstrip, is it? Something is wrong. The craft is descending and about to crash into a person, but what happened? Surprised? So are we. Apparently, we'd been fooled by a well-crafted set of cameras and a good-sized scale aircraft. From a distance, it gives us a feeling that this is an authentic aircraft of some popular airline, but the reality is quite different. Sometimes the images and the perspectives of the objects deceive us, and this, without a doubt, is one of those cases. Number 8. The power of the future. It's now common to marvel at the technological advances that are manifesting on our planet. Sometimes they even generate a little fear in us, but what you are about to see seems impossible. In fact, it shows us that we are very close to the future of science fiction movies. What you are watching was recorded in a neighborhood in Hong Kong, China. It's one of the first aerial train stations that, in addition to crossing the entire city, also goes through many of the structures of buildings, stores, and even bridges in the city. These are just the first experiments of this amazing technological advance that promises to redesign the structure and configuration of our cities. However, although it's already a reality in many Asian cities, it's still something distant and futuristic for many. Number 7. Home intruders. How likely is it that your bedroom will become the sanctuary of a massive beehive? It probably sounds impossible, but this young man witnessed his seemingly quiet room hiding an unexpected secret. In the video, we can see a professional beekeeper carefully dismantling the false ceiling of the room. It's clear that there's a sound that warns of danger, and when he finally manages to section a part of the ceiling and show it to the camera, we're paralyzed. There was a hidden monstrous honeycomb inside the structure, a megacity where more than 10,000 bees coexisted in secret while the owners were unaware of its existence. Number 6. Saved by a whisker. There's nothing like enjoying a nice day of fishing offshore and returning home as the sun is setting, is there? The feeling of peace and tranquility is unique, something you rarely get to experience. However, sometimes danger arises in unexpected ways, even in the most peaceful places on the planet, and this video is proof of that. As a small boat moves forward with its back to the horizon, something seems to have caught the attention of a monstrous creature of the deep as a colossal whale emerges before our watchful eyes. The creature lunges against the surface as if it wanted to make a spontaneous jump, but in the process, it almost takes out the poor boat, which in front of an animal like this seems small, almost tiny, and as vulnerable as a paper boat in the ocean. Undoubtedly, the crew members narrowly escaped being overturned by this whale, but the most surprising thing is that this event was recorded with a camera. Number 5. Chaos at the mall. For many people, shopping malls are perfect places to hang out, socialize, and even find some good deals. But sometimes they're also the epicenter of chaos. This is especially true when the structure has such a modern design that features a huge aquarium on the roof and suddenly suffers an unexpected leak. The footage was taken by an ordinary visitor who was quietly enjoying the view of the place when a high-pressure jet begins to emerge from the roof. Panic breaks out everywhere and people can't believe what they are seeing. Many are amazed and at the same time surprised by this event, and even we, from the comfort of our armchairs, find it incredible that this has happened. Number 4. A bumpy marriage proposal. For most people, marriage proposals are the most special moments in a couple's life, and it says a lot about the future that relationship will have. However, sometimes accidents happen that shouldn't be taken into account. This man had meticulously planned the best way to propose to his partner, but nerves seem to have betrayed him, because just at the big moment when he kneels down, he loses his balance and falls into the sea along with the engagement ring. The small boat in which this couple is in doesn't seem to have the necessary dimensions to support the nerves of the man, who unfortunately saw all his plans destroyed by an unexpected accident. Luckily, his partner also enjoyed this impromptu scene of humor, and after the laughter passed, both were able to get engaged and keep this video as a memory. Number 3. Stuck in the mud. When it comes to motorcycles, accidents are more common than we can imagine, and sometimes they're so surprising and unexpected that we can't believe them. This poor guy thought he was so smart when he rode onto a road that appeared to be uninhabited. For some reason, he thought he was going to avoid the traffic in his town, but he actually ended up getting into a big accident. However, it's not what you imagine. There was no crash and no one was hurt. As he went deeper into the terrain, he discovered that the road was practically paved with a thick mud where any object that landed on it would sink into its depths. Unfortunately, by the time he tried to escape from the spot, it was too late. The man was forced to push his motorcycle for several kilometers. Every step he took was a titanic struggle due to the treacherous ground conditions, and the huge straight line he left drawn in the mud shows us how difficult it must have been for him to escape from there. Number 2. Change of direction. Have you ever wondered how huge cruise ships make a turn on their own axis and change direction? Yes, it sounds like a somewhat complicated explanation, so perhaps it's best to see for yourself. This way, you understand what we're talking about. This footage shows us a veritable titan of the ocean, a monstrously large ship that seems to have taken a wrong turn. Indeed, it must now turn back, but how will it do it? Watch closely. In 3, 2, 1. There it is. To everyone's surprise, this cruiser has the ability to turn on its own axis at excellent speed and change the direction of its course in a matter of seconds. I don't know if you've ever stopped to think how they could execute this kind of maneuver, but now you know it, and we're sure you're just as impressed as everyone who's seen this video. Number 1. Fact or fiction? For many people, there's nothing better than a good ending, and the video you're about to see has one that might surprise you deeply. Right off the bat, all we see is a huge airship that seems to be trying to land on a somewhat uncomfortable terrain for the pilot. Slowly, the craft descends, but then, just as it hits the ground, something unexpected happens. The explosion shakes the camera and completely transforms what looked like a routine landing into a nightmare. Naturally, this video has sparked a myriad of controversies and opinions. Most people are convinced that it is a montage created to generate impact, while others are convinced that it is a real event. What do you think? Did this blimp really explode, or is it just some good editing that makes us completely believe what we are seeing? You can share your opinion in the comments. However, if you aren't completely sure of your answer, or if you're convinced that this can't be real, maybe you'd like to see some surprising facts that most people consider to be false, but ended up being true. If you dare to test your senses and discover what lies beyond the unexplained, follow us to the next videos and prepare to be amazed.